Anybody who know me know I worship the ground them kids walked on.
The 29-year-old mother of the 2 kids.
My cousin made a mistake, and look at how the world is judging her.
The cousin of the mother who took her 5 children and their grandmother.
Maybe I asked the wrong people for help, but that was the only thing I did wrong.
Tatiana, remembering how many times she reached out for a place to live. She asked the father of the 2 kids that
He had an excuse every time. Either he's working, they can't come where he living. He lived with a female, and the parents and them don't want kids there or something.
Her mother and 2 teenage siblings. She says she reached out to Curry, who's the father of 3 of her children.
I asked him, I said, can you get your kids for me? I said, I need help. You know I'm homeless. I done kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more.
They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to?
No, she did not. All she said was, can I get them? Can I get them just to get them? And can I get them because y'all homeless? That's 2 different things.
She said she had been homeless for 3 months.
See, I saw it.
in their 2002 Town and Country van since November. But the kids had everything else.
They ate every day, all day. Goodies, food.
To death.
She asked for help. She asked the right people. She was scared of what the world would think of her, so she did privately the right thing. She asked the city, and what they do, they told her they couldn't help her.
And the mayor and the kid's grandmother, 49-year-old Yvette Goodman, was also in the van that day. Did the van run out of gas?
I have no idea what happened. I have no idea.
Did you fall asleep?
Yes.
And then when you woke?
Only night I fell asleep. I usually be woke.
And when you woke up, what happened?
My grandson wasn't moving.
All right, what's up with it, y'all? So look, man, I'm back again with another video, and I do want to start this one off with some positivity. I want to tell everybody out there that I definitely do appreciate y'all for being here. I hope that everything is okay with you and your family, and I'm wishing y'all nothing but the best in every aspect of y'all's life. And when I say this, I'm strictly talking to those who say it back to me in return, and to those who reciprocate the same energy but can't say it back to me in return as of now. Other than that, we're finna move forward into this whole story. And one more thing that I do want to say before I move forward is RIP to these 2 beautiful children and everybody out there that had a genuine love for them, especially the father and the mother too as well, even though her carelessness, in my personal opinion, led to this situation happening. So look, basically this took place in Detroit, where it was a young woman by the name of Tatiana Williams. She's 29 years old and she has 4 children. Okay, so basically she's been homeless allegedly for a period of time, and she's been from hotel to hotel and stuff like that, from what she's telling the people, right? And you know, basically they've been living in a van, and the van ran out of gas the other night. It was one of those casinos. I'm not for sure, don't quote me on the name of it, but they were in a casino parking garage, and the car ran out of gas. And you know, when the car runs out of gas, it shuts off, and everything else cuts off as well too, you know. So basically the children passed away from hypothermia, what they're alleging so far. And I just want to say, man, you know, when it's children involved, you got to do whatever you got to do to make sure that they're okay in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Now, she said she reached out to multiple people for help. No one helped her. And it's crazy that one of her cousins got on the internet and actually stated that she asked for help and she couldn't get the help and different things like that. But ultimately, why didn't they help? That's what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? And this video right here isn't to kick anyone while they're down. I'm just speaking on the facts of the case so far. But basically, she's saying the family member is stating that, you know, people should have been helping her. And I feel like whoever around her at this time should have been doing that. And people always, you know, complain about not having help, and I definitely do understand that, because it's easier said than done to get some help with your children. I just feel like when it comes to extreme conditions like this, you should do whatever it takes to make sure that they're properly taken care of. I won't give a damn what happened to me, but my kids gonna be straight. They're just me, and I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? So I know Mama Bear gonna be, you know, a little bit more antsy in my personal opinion. But hey, look, the city isn't going against her. They're actually in, you know, support of what she's trying to do as of now with her life and with her children, which is understandable. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like that there's no way in the hell these children should have lost their lives. So the father also speaks. When the father speaks, he said that she didn't tell him the reason why she wanted to drop the children off. And it didn't make no sense to me, because I don't give a damn what it is. Bring them kids to me. If I can help, or if I feel like it's something that needs to be done, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take whatever sacrifice I got to take to make sure that these children are okay. But, you know, I digress. Everybody got different things that they do with their lives. And he also stated that she could have took the children to someone else that's in his family also. I just feel like that those are my children. They're my responsibility. I'm going to do what I got to do. You ain't got to call. I'm going to call if I can't get them as of now. But hey, people going to do what they want to do. We're finna get into the facts of the case. I actually got the mother speaking and the father speaking in totality so y'all can hear exactly what they're saying. But I want to know your thoughts and opinions on this whole situation. I do want to say RIP to them kids again, because there's no way in the hell they shouldn't be here right now, in my personal opinion. But it is easier said than done. People can be coming up with these excuses about pride and you don't know how hard it is. Yeah. True enough. I'm not being insensitive to those who try, but I feel like that at this point, it was something that could have been done, man. Damn, I hate that. I would have went into the casino if the truck ran out of gas. Whatever the case, whatever I got to do. But hey, everybody do whatever the hell they want to do with their life. Let's get into this.
First breaking news in the sibling tragedy that shook Metro Detroit after 2 kids died of apparent hypothermia in a casino parking garage. Welcome to 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
I'm Simon Shaykat. This story has devastated our area. Just moments ago, 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham talking with the mother of those 2 children.
Darren joining us live right now from Detroit's West Side with more from their conversation. And Darren, so many people talking about this. This is simply heartbreaking.
Very heartbreaking, Carolyn, Simon. Moments ago, I did have the opportunity to speak to Tatiana Williams, who lost her 9-year-old and her 2-year-old, also in the vehicle at the time, her 4-year-old and her 8-year-old. Also, Tatiana's mother and her 2 siblings, a 13-year-old and a 17-year-old, also stay in that vehicle. She tells me that she has been homeless for 3 months and that she is trying to do better for herself, trying to get back on her feet. She told me she's a CNA, a medical assistant, and that she was actually about to start a new job tomorrow. And so I did speak with her, and I asked her, one of the questions I did ask her was to take me back to yesterday.
Yesterday I woke them up to wake them up from school. My son wasn't moving, and I kept saying, Freddie, please get up. Please for me, just get up. Don't do this to me. And I tried to give him CPR because I'm a senior and a medical assistant. I've been working there since I was 17. I tried to give him CPR and I was just giving him CPR. I just kept saying, Freddie, don't leave me. Don't leave me, please. I saw the green and brown stuff coming out of his mouth. I instantly rushed him to the hospital. I was yelling out the window, stop. We got to get through traffic. My baby, he's dying. We get to the hospital. I told valet, can you go get some help? He took too long, so I got out the car to get help. They came to the car, instantly grabbed my baby on his head, get a stretch. He's not breathing. Help. Cold blue. Everybody tried. I didn't even know my 2-year-old was dead. I was in it with my 9-year-old, and they brought her in right after they pronounced him dead. And my mama came to me, she said, Yaya. That's what we call her, but her name is Amelia. We just call her Yaya. And they said she wasn't breathing, and they pronounced her too. I asked everybody for help. I called out of state. I called cities I didn't know. I called cities people asked me to call. I even asked Detroit. I've been on CAM list for the longest. Everybody now wants to help. After I lost 2 kids, I've been asked for help. I feel like it wasn't their time. I did everything I was supposed to do. They had everything. Everything they wanted. Only thing I didn't have was a house. But from electronics to clothes, anything they asked me for, my kids didn't even get whooped. I lost the one who made me a mother. I lost a 2-year-old. It hurt losing 2 kids in one night. You know, I don't wish this on nobody. And if you can get help, please go get help. Because I don't want nobody else to go through what I'm feeling. Just wherever you can get help from, if it's not from the city, the state, no other city or state, just go. Like, you don't have to suffer.
Just very, very Very heartbreaking. The new McFall Brothers Funeral Home is covering the children's burial plans and funeral expenses. Williams, 29, she's 29 years old. She is also receiving help from Detroit Power Detroit, that organization. That's the building that we're actually standing outside of here, where we spoke to her not long ago.
And with her mentioning electronics and things like that, me personally being a responsible parent, I would have went to a pawn shop. I would have got up and I would have pawned everything. I would have made sure we are okay. I don't think people, and I can understand people be saying that these children need this and they need that. If she would have talked to a school about their problems without living in the home, I think that they would have helped. But I don't know if she did that or not. She said she reached out to everybody, so I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt because I don't want to kick someone while they're down. But I just got to keep it real. It just would be fake of me to act like this is okay when it's actually not. You know, I know I'm going to get a little backlash from a couple of people who have went through certain things. And, you know, I'm not even going to get mad at you, argue with you, block you, nothing like that. Just get off, you know, because I know it probably feels good to get it off on somebody. But I'm not your enemy. I'm not the person who caused you any problems. I just feel like that when you are going through something with these children, you got to take responsibility and hold yourself accountable for every single thing. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that they are okay. And I'm pretty sure if you'd went to a police station at night, they probably would have let y'all come in a little bit. You know, something that probably could have happened. I don't know. But who's to say that she didn't try all of that? You feel me? Let me know your thoughts and opinions to get back into it. This is the father finna come up. People to tell his side of the story. Let's go.
Anyone who is interested in helping her family will be sure to get that information on our website, wxyz.com. And 7 News Detroit will have more from Williams on later versions of 7 News Detroit. Live on the west side, Darren Cunningham, 7 News Detroit.
Darren, our hearts just go out to that family. So much pain there. It's so difficult to watch her go through that and to explain what she's been through and to still find a way to share that message for others. But our thoughts and prayers are with that.
Now we're going to turn to our other big story of the night. A father speaking to us tonight after learning 2 of his kids died from exposure to the cold in a casino parking lot.
Yesterday, 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham spoke to the mother of those 2 kids about the tragic situation.
Yesterday, I woke them up to wake them up from school. My son wasn't moving. And I kept saying, Freddie, please get up. Please.
Well, tonight, Darren is getting the father's side of this story, hearing about the moment he learned 2 of his children had passed away.
Darnell Curry Sr. wiped away tears while talking with me about his children, Darnell Jr. and Amelia, and the distressing phone call he says he took from their mother, Tatiana Williams, on Monday.
I went to the gym. As soon as I got on the treadmill, she called saying, can I make it to the hospital right now? They gone. I was hoping it was a sick joke, but it wasn't.
According to Detroit police, 9-year-old Darnell Jr. and 2-year-old Amelia died while sleeping in a vehicle at the Hollywood Casino at Greektown parking garage. Investigators say the cause appears to be hypothermia, a tragedy stemming from homelessness.
I tried. I asked for help. I asked everybody, even people out of state. But I tried. I tried to keep hotels. I tried to pay people to stay there. It wasn't working for me. You know, people just didn't like too many kids at their house.
I spoke with the children's mother Tuesday evening. She told me she's been living in her vehicle for 3 months, along with her 4 kids, her mother, and 2 teenage siblings. She says she reached out to Curry, who's the father of 3 of her children.
I asked him, I said, can you get your kids for me? I said, I need help. You know I'm homeless. I done kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more.
They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to...
No, she did not. All she said was, can I get them? Can I get them just to get them? And can I get them because y'all homeless? That's 2 different things.
She said she had been homeless for 3 months.
That's what I saw, about 3 months, but she ain't never said nothing to me. Nothing. So all them other side stories, they can cut all that. No, she did not.
Curry, who lives in Novi, says Williams never specified why she wanted to drop their kids off to him.
She just get them for a couple of days, but I told her I'm working and all that, and I'm out here. We're not close to each other, so I couldn't. But she knows all my family is right around the corner from her.
Did she reach out to any of your family?
No, she did not.
I feel like, me personally, it ain't no need for no full explanation. You know what I'm saying? And this comes from a a full-time father. I've been in my child's life since she was born. I don't give a damn what it is. If you need a break or anything like that, call me. Call me. I don't give a damn what it is. I can be out of the country. Call me. I'm going to get back. And everybody don't have the means to do exactly just that. But I'm giving y'all an analogy on how serious it is to get to these kids when somebody is saying get them. Especially if you are the father. Now, I'm not kicking you while I said why. I'm talking to both y'all at the same time. I'm not kicking you, and I'm telling y'all I'm not kicking him while he's down. I'm just keeping it real. Ain't no way. Boy, I'm about to start cussing. Boy, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Just come on with it, baby. Come on. Let's just do it, because I can't let you, you know what I'm saying? No telling what the hell really going on. And if you calling me, something got to be wrong. And I would have called my family, too. But let's get back into it, man.
No, she could have. Like we always used to do.
He says the last time he held his children was a month or two ago, and that they typically FaceTime, moments he will miss. And there's a, police investigation into this. What is it you would like to see come of this? Obviously, nothing's going to bring back your 9-year-old and your 2-year-old.
It doesn't matter to me. Can't get them back, so it's whatever.
Darren Cunningham, 7 News Detroit.
No, you cannot get them back. Our heart aches for this family. I mean, there's so many people reaching out, trying to help. And I would just say, to anybody in our community, if your children are cold, and go inside somewhere, beg for help if you can, so nothing like this ever happens again.
And as I learned today, there are shelters. In those kind of situations, even if it's not ideal, shelters are your best policy at that moment.
Shelters, there are churches, there are people who will take you in. And I know she said she asked for help, so we are not blaming the mother, because this is absolute
They're the same way. That's what I'm trying to do.
Anybody else out there, if you're in this situation, please go beg for help. Go knock on a church door. They will let you in before they let you stay out in the cold, and your children could possibly die. That won't happen. Please knock on a door and ask for help.
Yeah, please do. All right.
Now to another top story this morning that we know so many of you have been following.
Yeah, a grieving mother trying to cope with a heartbreaking family tragedy is speaking out to 7 News Detroit.
It really is heartbreaking. She'd been living in a van with her 4 children when the unthinkable happened. 2 of those children died from what appears to be hypothermia while they were parked in the Hollywood Casino parking garage.
Well, our Kiara Hay is joining us live now, and this mother says she tried to get help from the city for her family earlier in the cold season. Do we have any idea what happened? And of course, we want to hear from her what she's going through, as difficult as we all know this is.
Absolutely. Hearing that she reached out for help is just one of the facts in this case. It's kind of hard to digest. It's really a tragedy all the way around. Now, we were able to speak to her. And again, this is a mother who lost 2 children in one night. She says she reached out to the city's homeless response team back in November, but didn't receive help. So since then, Tatiana Williams and her 4 children have been living in her van. She tells us she was unable to keep hotel rooms or pay people to stay in their homes. But it was on Monday night the unthinkable happened. Williams says she ran out of gas after pulling into the Hollywood Greektown Casino parking garage at 1 a.m. And then the next morning, when she was trying to wake her children up for school, she discovered her 9-year-old wasn't breathing. She tells us that she tried to give him CPR, but eventually a friend took him to the hospital. And that's when they also found out that the 2-year-old was unresponsive. Both children believed to have from hypothermia.
I lost the one who made me a mother. Lost a 2-year-old. I'm sad. It hurts. I feel like my heart is breaking. And I have 2 more kids to live for.
Now, Tatiana is now in a shelter, and her 2 other children are staying with relatives. And we also heard from Mayor Mike Duggan, who says the city is now doing an internal review of the homeless services. But Keenan, I've covered stories before. It's hard to find shelters for women and children, so you can only imagine what this family was going through.
Yeah, and the mayor spoke out yesterday, and actually we covered it live on 7 News Detroit at noon, and he said just a few miles away there were beds available for families, but if the beds are available but people don't know how to get them or can't get to them, they might as well not exist. So many questions about this. Thank you so much, Kiara, for breaking that down for us.
Okay, now you see everybody's trying to tiptoe around the conversation. I'm keeping it more direct than most, you know what I'm saying? because they have to do this, and I can understand that, you know. But me personally, I feel like that they trying to say you could have did something in so many words. You feel me? And like they said, a couple of miles away and different things like that. And he said it might have well not exist if you don't know how to get to them and stuff like that, bro. If they got all these electronics and stuff, the casinos have free Wi-Fi. You can look up stuff. I will be doing it every single day until I get something situated for me and my family. But, you know, she said she tried, and everybody, you know, can say certain things, but if you're not that person directly, then it's kind of hard to understand their thinking and ways of doing things. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that go. But hey, look, I do have a press conference with them actually speaking about the full thing in details coming up right now. So y'all go ahead and check this out, and I'm gonna holler at y'all later in the comments. I said I'm gonna holler at y'all later in the comments. I'm gonna holler at y'all now in the comments, and I'm gonna holler at y'all later on another video. All right.
Hypothermia. So everything that I'm going to give you at this point is preliminary in nature. As we continue with our investigation, so therefore it could be subject to change, and I'll give further updates later. But the children were asleep in a car on the 9th floor of a casino parking structure, the Hollywood Casino. The mother realized that her 9-year-old son wasn't breathing. Also, previous to that, she had already called a friend, another, you know, close relative, to help, because with the vehicle not running, trying to figure out whether it was a mechanical failure, it had ran out of gas. So they were already on site in another vehicle, attempting with gasoline to get the vehicle started. When the mother realized that her son wasn't breathing, she did make a 911 call, but the friend in a Buick immediately transported the 9-year-old, put him in the car and transported them to Children's Hospital. While en route to Children's Hospital, as they checked on the other children that were in the van, and it was a total of 5 children in the van, they realized at some point that the 2-year-old wasn't breathing, and so a telephone call was made to the friend that was transporting the 9-year-old at Children's Hospital to return so that the 2-year-old could be picked up. Once the vehicle returned, the Buick, you know, we have videotape where we see the whole entire family get into the Buick, and they all were transported to Children's Hospital. With that, like I said, the call came in at 12:12 from the mother. It was very limited information that was given to our 911 call taker as to the location of where everything was happening. It was just at the casino, no description of the vehicle, etc. Our call taker continuously kept the line opening, trying to identify where in the description and what was going on. A 911 call taker called the mom back numerous times, and ultimately we received a call from the hospital that they had 2 children there who were deceased. Our officers responded to the hospital. The hospital had notified us at 12:47. Officers, like I said, responded to the hospital, and from there we continued with the investigation, talked to the mother, and also talked to the grandmother, and they were able to give us the specific locations as to where the van actually was that was parked on the 9th floor at the Motor City Casino. And so we do know that on that day and time that the temperatures were below 32 degrees, and from all, you know, talking to hospital staff, and of course, ultimately the medical examiner will determine the cause. But just on the surface right now, it appears that it was exposure to hypothermia. So at this point, I'll, you know, be around to answer additional questions, but I'll turn it over to the mayor, and at the end of the press conference, we'll answer questions. Thank you all.
Thanks, Chief. It's a terrible day in Detroit as we deal with the tragic loss of 2 young people, and it's got to make us rethink everything that we're doing. The heartbreaking part of this is that there were family shelter beds available just a few miles away from where the family pulled in to their Greektown structure, but brings home the point that having services available doesn't mean very much if the residents who need them don't know how to access them. I meet every 2 weeks with the police chief and all of the command staff to talk about what's going on. And last winter, the commanders were telling me that they were picking up unsheltered individuals in the evening and taking them to shelters and couldn't get them in, which made me very angry because I thought we had contracts that shelters did not turn people away. But we got our housing and redevelopment team together with the Detroit Police Department and dramatically changed things for this winter. We added 400 more shelter beds, going from 900 to 1,300 for this winter. And then we added another 110 drop-in beds. And drop-in beds are really important because while a shelter may be full, the drop-in center will take an individual any time of the evening and never turn anybody away. And 75 of those beds were family beds, exactly the type we needed here. And then we added a third piece. The angels of this city are our homeless outreach workers. What they are doing out in the cold and talking to our individuals about their problems every day is remarkable. But DPD complained that in the evening they did not have the access to the homeless outreach workers. And so this winter we put the outreach workers on 24-hour shifts, continual service, so that any time of the day or night, DPD can immediately reach an outreach worker and place an individual. And all winter long, I have heard great compliments at the way the Detroit police are working with the outreach team. As people in this city know, our officers do not treat the homeless with a criminal response. They almost invariably go out with an outreach worker talking about where they could go. So, as we look at what happened here, we know this has been a lot colder winter. And the details I'm going to give you are also preliminary. Chief Bedison is examining the side from the police department, but we're also going to examine everything that happened here from a housing services standpoint. And so we're only 18 hours into this, and what I say may turn out to change as we go, but here's what I am told from the housing department that we do know. That this family reached out to our homeless response team on November 25th. They had reached out earlier in the summer and even back into the previous year, but reached out on November 25th essentially saying they had been living with a family. They were no longer going to be able to keep living with that family and needed a place to go. And in the course of that conversation, there was no resolution reached on where they would go. And one of the things that's important when you call our homeless services folks is that if it's an emergency situation, we send out one of these outreach workers. Because when you're on the telephone, you have people with complicated problems. Sometimes it's hard to figure out exactly what the circumstance is. Is it an emergency? But when a homeless outreach worker goes and lays eyes on the family and sees what's going on, they know exactly what to do. For whatever reason, this wasn't deemed an emergency that caused an outreach worker to visit the family. 3 weeks later, we opened the Family Drop-In Center on December 16th. It was exactly the type of situation we opened it for. We were opening it to be ahead of the worst temperatures of the winter. At least as far as we've been able to determine so far, the family never called back again for service. And as far as we've been able to tell, our homeless staff never proactively reached out to say, what happened with your situation, was it resolved, or to indicate that there might be a room available. And so we have to make sure that we do everything possible to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And I'm not trying to talk about an individual employee. I'm talking about the system as a whole. Are we doing everything to make sure people in this city know how to access this critical care? And so I have asked Malia Howard, our deputy mayor, and Julie Schneider, the head of Housing and Revitalization Department, to come back to me with 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, with plans to review this and address it. One, obviously, is the history, the circumstances on this family. But I want a review of our call center and the housing specialist. I've heard times that people say, I called and they asked me a lot of questions about classification and the like, and I came away confused. I want to make sure that when people call, they get very clear options when that phone call is made. And I am asking them to put a policy in place that any time minors are involved experiencing homelessness, that our outreach workers automatically do a site visit. Anytime we've got children in danger of being on the street, I want that outreach worker face to face and identify what the situation is and make sure it is resolved. And finally, I'm asking for a review of our public information process. As you can probably gather, I was up late last night and I went and I looked at the media coverage when we opened the Family Drop-In Center on December 16th. It was remarkable. On all TV stations, all newspapers, all social media, we had extensive coverage that that service was there. But the reality is that somebody living in a car or somebody living on the street isn't getting that information. And I want us to think through how we make sure the people who need it the most know that we are there for them. The people in this city who are working on this are remarkable. You have got churches, you have got nonprofits, you have got warming centers. You have a lot of people in this city willing to step up and help during the winter. But I think it's really important right now that we just clarify to everybody 2 simple rules, and we have to do this to make sure it doesn't happen again. If during the day you are in danger of homelessness, you call the hotline. It's spelled in well-publicized 866-313-2520. But if it's after 6 o'clock at night and an incident's happened, you've been pushed out of the house, you're in an emergency situation, go to your police precinct. Because in this city, our police work hand in hand with our homeless prevention folks. And if you get to the police precinct, you don't need to navigate anything. The officers there will greet you and take care of you and make sure you get to the shelter that you need. We just can't have something like that happen in this city again. So the deputy mayor and the head of Housing Resources have been on their assignment for about 2 hours. I know they'll get it done thoroughly and competently. And with that, I'll introduce the deputy mayor, Malia Howard.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. As we stand here today, we do truly mourn the loss of these 2 children. It is completely tragic, and our hearts are heavy. No parent, no family, no mother should ever have to endure such hardship and heartbreak. And so our hearts go out to her and to her mother and her extended family. As Mayor Duggan just stated, over the course of the next 14 days, my team and I, along with Director Schneider and the Housing Department, will undertake a complete process review of what has happened. And we will provide the mayor with that feedback and those actionable items within 14 days. But I want to say this. If you are experiencing homelessness, if you are living in your vehicle, if you are on the imminent danger of being put out, please contact 866-313-2520. Again, please continue to pray for this family. As Detroiters, I know that we will lift them up in our hearts and do so. But please, again, if you know of anyone or if you yourself are experiencing these issues, please call 866-313-2520. Again, as Mayor Duggan stated, if it's after hours, please go to the nearest police precinct. Please. This is to support you and your families. So please know that we are here for you and continue to serve you. And again, the full strength of the administration is behind this effort, and my complete attention will be on nothing but this moving forward. So thank you. I'd like to bring up Director Julie Schneider from the Housing Department.
Hello. We're certainly saddened to be here today as we mourn these tragic losses. I certainly share in the sorrow as we mourn the death of two of Detroit's children. Just 2 weeks ago, I was out with the outreach teams on the east side of Detroit as part of the annual count of unsheltered households. I wanted to go out with our outreach teams. I wanted to see the work that they do every day. I wanted to talk to individuals and households who were experiencing homelessness. While we were out that night, we encountered one gentleman on the side of the road. He was quite literally cold and shivering that night and needing help and wanting help. I called for a Lyft ride while our team waited with him and talked to him. And that Lyft ride took him to one of our drop-in shelters as all of our outreach teams were out that night conducting outreach. As the mayor mentioned, this winter has been colder than previous winters and has been difficult and highlights the need to provide these services. In preparation for this winter and based on residents' need, we brought on an additional 400 shelter beds since December of 2023, and an additional 100 drop-in shelter beds for residents who are sleeping outside or who are in cars. We have expanded the work of those outreach teams like the one that I accompanied. You know, they're out every day meeting with unsheltered households, working to connect them to services such as shelter, housing, every single day. And that work was expanded to 24/7 since last year. You know, in light of these tragic events, as the mayor and deputy mayor said, I will conduct a review of the service delivery and coordination within the next 14 days. Also within the next 14 days, I'll be reviewing a history of the family as it relates to their calls for services for those experiencing homelessness. And I believe with that, we will open it up for... Oh, I'm sorry.
So at this time, we'll open it up to the media for questions. And I can already tell you that as far as the investigation, there's not a whole lot I can say. But we'll take the first question.
Faraz from Channel 7. Just a couple of things. Could you shed some light as to how many people were inside the van and ages as well, please?
It's a total of a total of 5 children and 2 adults that were inside the van.
Would you be able to share ages?
I'll have my team get the ages to you. What's the ages? Yep. 13 to 2.
Is anyone detained right now?
No.
Okay. And I guess, Mayor, this is probably a question for you, and you kind of partially answered that by 2 simple rules that you mentioned. I have experienced quite a few homeless people who are experiencing homelessness reaching out to me over the years, kind of trying to understand what options they have. And, I've helped some, I've tried to get help for some, but, there's always this roadblock. Either they don't have the information because probably they're not watching, television, or they're not on social media, or when they do call some of the numbers that are designed to help these folks, they don't receive the help. and they're frustrated, they're sad. What would your answer be for those people who try to utilize the services, but they've just been let down?
When we entered this winter with 400 more shelter beds and the 110 drop-in beds with a contract that nobody is turned away at the drop-in shelters any time of the night, the service is there. We have got to do a better job of educating folks on the fact that the service is there and getting people to it. And we've educated the police department, we've educated the outreach workers, and I think you can help us continue to educate the public.
Is there more that perhaps the city can do?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking the deputy mayor and the housing director. I think the key is, and I think I said this, the beds have to be available. We have to put eyes on these families experiencing homelessness with our professional outreach workers. We have to get them physically there and get an immediate response. You just learn so much more being with them than you get off of a phone call. And I do expect we are going to dramatically expand the site visits of the outreach workers, particularly with regard to families with children.
Do we have enough outreach workers?
We will do whatever we have to do. So we're already working on it, but we just added a second shift to outreach workers in the evening. I'm confident. But again, they have 14 days to have their report, but I am very confident one of the things they are going to accomplish is to make sure families with children have visits.
Ed White from the Associated Press. Chief, can you explain the significance of the casino garage for this family? Why they ended up there? And I'm wondering, I'm not familiar with that 9th level of the garage. Is it somewhat isolated, and that perhaps prevent maybe passersby or others from seeing the van and what might have been going on? What was the significance of that site?
So I definitely don't want to speculate, but in having a conversation with my detectives that interviewed the mother and the grandmother, and don't want to get too far into actually what was said, but I will tell you that at the casino it's definitely free parking. It has an aspect of safety to it if you're going to be sleeping in a vehicle. And then another aspect of it is you're able to go inside the casino and utilize restroom facilities.
Did they do that? Did you know if they went in the casino at any point?
At some point, I was told that by my detectives that yes, they would utilize casino restrooms.
I guess that raises another point. Did anyone from the casino see them at all?
I'm not going to get...
Was there an opportunity there to intervene?
I'm not going to. The investigation is ongoing, and so definitely don't want to do anything. And I'm not going to go into a lot that I do know just based off of the fact that I want to give this mother dignity, and I'll just present the facts to the Wayne County prosecutor and allow her to do her job. So,
Chief, with this ongoing investigation, is the city now providing this family some resources, housing, or any other resources?
So, of course, you just heard from the mayor, this whole team right here, there are resources, and at this particular point, the children, they're with other family members, and the answer is yes.
And Malia Howard will be coordinating that.
I'm sorry?
The deputy mayor will be coordinating that.
Okay. And follow up on his question, do you know how long the family had been seeking shelter at that parking garage? Was yesterday an isolated incident, or had they been seeking shelter there over days?
They moved around from various casino parking lots, so that wasn't the only casino parking lot that they would sometimes camp in or stay.
Thank you.
Hi, Chief. This is Andrea from the Detroit Free Press. I just have a couple of quick questions.
Yes.
First, you had mentioned that you were presenting facts to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. Does that mean you were investigating for potential criminal liability here?
We not necessarily. We, it's so early in the investigation. We're just going to present the facts, and so it doesn't necessarily mean criminal. Sometimes it can mean negligence, but we don't make charging decisions, and we can't even determine the cause of death. And so just like of course, the medical examiner will actually determine the cause of death. We suspect that it's hypothermia, but it could come back being something completely different. And so we're going to present the facts to the prosecutor, but at this point in time, we have sent nothing to the prosecutor.
Okay, and then just a clarification on timeline. So a family friend was already at the garage helping out with the car when the mother, found out about discovered her 9-year-old son wasn't breathing. The family friend took the child to the hospital, and that's when, was it the grandmother that reported the 2-year-old that was not breathing, or was it the mother?
I believe that was the grandmother. It was the grandmother.
Okay, yes. Grandmother. And then last question, how were the other children, how were they dressed, and how were they found when they were found? Were they in proper clothing, or?
Yeah, see that, I don't want to get into that detailed of the investigation, but we'll present those facts to the Wayne County prosecutor. But the only thing I'll say is this, for the good of the public, that in temperatures like this, a vehicle will not insulate you from exposure. So therefore, if you're out there, and I'll just use this example, because I've been thinking about this over and over and over. You ever leave a gallon of water or a gallon of milk in your car, and the next day you go to it, it's frozen solid. And so for anybody that's out there now, just seek shelter.
Okay, thank you.
John Hewitt, WWJ. Most of my questions have been asked and answered, but I did have two for clarity, please. The mayor mentioned that the family reached out to the city in November. Had they been living in this vehicle since November, maybe not at the casino garage for that period of time, or can you add any more context as to how long they had been living in this vehicle?
From my preliminary investigation and talking to detectives, anywhere from 2 to 3 months.
And when it comes to the other children being with other family members now, not to sit here and second guess on the tragedy, but were they other family members just not aware of this situation with the family? Because after this incident, they can take these kids in, but other family may not have known, or do you have any idea as to, why they were in the situation they were in?
You definitely don't want to speculate, but from what I've been told, is that the mother had a lot of pride. She loved her kids, and she wanted to keep the family together.
Thank you.
Julia Cardi, Detroit News.
Yes.
Are you able to say how many times before had this family been to this casino?
I don't know that specifically at this point.
And for anyone that can answer, would there be any consideration of expanding the hours that the city's homelessness hotline operates to operate it overnight, to just give people that option?
We have done that occasionally when it's gotten very cold and we set up additional centers, but the shortest way for somebody in an emergency is go to the police precinct. It's just... we probably will extend the hours, but that will not be nearly as effective. If you're experiencing an emergency after hours, go to your police precinct. They will navigate the process and get you to a shelter.
And for the other 3 children involved, where are they now?
They're with some family members.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Charlie Langton, Fox 2. Chief, if I could just ask you, tell me if I'm wrong, but were they using their car for heat as well? And then at some point, did they run out of gas? And if that's the case, how long had they had no heat?
So they were using their car as shelter, and at some point the vehicle either ran out of gas or had a mechanical failure. We'll later be able to determine that, but during the night the vehicle stopped. It was frigid, and as a result we're here today.
and the first call that was made to any authority was roughly noon-ish or
Yes,
so?
sir. Yes, sir.
So we're talking a number of hours that there was no heat in that car?
Yes, many hours, so, yes.
And Mayor, if I could just, thank you, Chief. If I could just ask you, I'm assuming it's not a viable place to shelter at a casino parking lot. What would you say to the business operators that maybe are providing some safety, but is that the proper way to do that?
Yeah, I'm not sure that the casino operators had any idea that this was occurring, but we have the ability to shelter you tonight. Please call the hotline or go to the police precinct.
And those, just so I'm clear, if someone is listening to this right now, they are in need of a shelter, they can call the city 24 hours a day and they can get a place to shelter.
They can call the city until 6 p.m. at the hotline number. After 6 p.m., go to the police precinct.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you all.